Welcome to Down on Your Luck, Let's Make a Buck, predictions for the 2024 NFL season. Our latest show brought to you by BLT Studios. Guys, let's skip all the chitter chatter. You know what you came for. Let's jump right into it. Week 1, Thursday night, NFL kickoff. We got Baltimore Ravens heading into KC Arrowhead Stadium. We know how noisy this stadium gets, guys. Expect a lot of the same from Kansas City, guys. It's pretty much the same team. We have a couple acquisitions. If I'm not mistaken, I believe they dropped off L'Jarius Sneed and picked up Juju Smith-Schuster on offense. We know last season KC struggled with the wide receivers. You guys watched the games. You guys saw all the drops. I mean, there were compilations of drops. So we know Juju Smith-Schuster, he's a reliable receiver. Hopefully him and Patrick Mahomes can have that connection. And of course, you got Travis Kelce doing what he does. How is being in love going to affect his gameplay, guys? These things matter. It's pretty much the same thing for the Ravens too. We're seeing these teams are pretty similar. So I would expect a lot of what you saw last season from these teams. With that said, guys, I think this game, everyone's expecting it to be exciting, a bit of a shootout for the kickoff of the season. And I think this game might be a similar type of deal to last season's week 1 when it was, I believe, the Detroit Lions going into Arrowhead Stadium and they pulled off that crazy upset at the beginning of the season. I think KC falls short again on this one. 14-10, Baltimore gets it done on the road in KC in a tough game. After that one, guys, we have something unique from the league. We got a Friday game, Friday night, Friday midday type of game here. We got Green Bay heading into Philadelphia, guys. What is it about Green Bay? They just know how to pick the quarterbacks. I mean, the last 3 quarterbacks, we got Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and now Jordan Love looking like he might fall into that same type of category, guys. Acquisitions with Josh Jacobs. This is a young Green Bay team with a lot of talent. Similar story with Philadelphia here, guys. Young team, lots of talent. I just like Green Bay here getting it done. I think Nick Sirianni, we've seen him have some coaching woes in the past. I think this season's going to be a little bit lackluster for Philadelphia. We'll see. I might be eating my own words here in a few weeks, but I think Nick Sirianni gets in the hot seat this season in this coaching position. I think Green Bay gets it done. Give me Green Bay, semi-blowout fashion. I think 35-17 Green Bay Packers. Heading into the early Sunday slate, guys, we got a little bit of an underwhelming matchup. We got Carolina Panthers heading into New Orleans to take on the Saints. Derek Carr is the GOAT. Is there any discussion to be had here? I'm unbiased. He's just the GOAT. I think the Saints are going to be one of those sneaky good teams this year. They're going to be winning, squeaking out a lot of W's here and there that you just wouldn't see coming. I see them winning 9, 8, 10 games possibly. And I think they start this out by beating a young Carolina team. That being said, looking at Carolina, guys, we have a new coach, Dave Canales, looking to revitalize Bryce Young in that Carolina offense. I think they're going to look better than last year, but Bryce Young just still has a lot of woes to work through. I don't think he's quite where he needs to be yet. And the Carolina defense, I mean, what are they really doing? So give me New Orleans to beat the Carolina Panthers in a little bit more of a higher scoring game than you'd expect. I think final score looks something 27-24-ish, 27-21-ish. I think this game is a little bit higher scoring than people are thinking it'll be. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings on the road taking on the New York Giants. Giants fans, I'm sorry. More Daniel Jones. I feel for you. I can't believe it. Vikings fans, what happened in the offseason? How is J.J. McCarthy already injured? I can't imagine. I would be sick to my stomach, fall down to my knees. That being said, I think the Vikings are a little bit lucky here to take on a very weak Giants team. Is Brian Daboll even the head coach still? I think he is. Brian Daboll is going to be in the hot seat this season too. The Vikings team is a little bit more, you can trust a lot more of their pieces with Jay Jettas, TJ Hawkinson, even without, and who was the quarterback? Sam Darnold, I believe. I think Sam Darnold's on par with Daniel Jones, and the Vikings just have more seasoned pieces on that team on the offense. I believe the Minnesota Vikings beat the New York Giants in a pretty low scoring affair, 17-9. Minnesota gets it done on the road. Next, guys, we got My first blowout prediction, unless you count that Green Bay Philadelphia game, I might be eating my own words on that one. We got my official first blowout of the season, guys. We got the Patriots on the road heading to take on the Cincinnati Bengals. Eminem, I mean Joe Burrow. It's Joe Shiesty, Joe Burrow. He's hungry. He wants this dub, guys. And I believe Ja'Marr Chase is on a bit of an injury. He might not play this game. Even without Ja'Marr Chase, I think the Bengals have enough pieces to get this done. On the Patriots side of the game, Gerard Mayo making a unique move here, not starting Drake May. I don't know if they didn't like what they saw from him in the preseason. He had flashes. They decided to start Jacoby Brissett instead. I think Gerard Mayo is going to be eating his decision here. I think Jacoby Brissett is going to make some key turnovers in this game that are going to shift it pretty early on. I think Cincinnati runs away with this game in blowout fashion and beats the Patriots 35-9. Up next, guys, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons. The battle of mid quarterbacks. Who's the least mid between these two guys? Russell Wilson. It's crazy how much the narrative is flipped about this guy. No one seems to like Russell Wilson anymore. And then you got taking on Big Kirko, 2 Chainz Kirk. Matter of fact, let's take a look at Kirko right now and see how he's feeling about this game. I think Kirk Cousins is going to get this done. Not a lot of talking notes on this one, guys. I think it's going to be a bit of a blowout here. Another one. Falcons get it done 24-3 and absolutely curb stomp the Steelers. Are we going to see Mike Tomlin's first losing season this season? And if we do, you saw it here first. Up next, guys, we have one of my favorite matchups of the week. We have CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans going on the road to take on Anthony Richardson, a revitalized Anthony Richardson and the Indianapolis Colts. We saw it last season, guys. The Texans knocked out the Colts from playoff contention, and this Colts team was scrappy last year despite the injuries, but it's CJ Stroud era, guys. We've seen the Texans' new uniforms. I mean, it's smelling like a Super Bowl run right now with this young, hungry Texans team. That being said, on the Colts side of things, look for Anthony Richardson to come back in a big way. I'm not sure how the injury is going to affect him. We've seen injuries take confidence from quarterbacks in the past. I'm talking Derek Carr. If you haven't figured out, I'm a bit of a Derek Carr fan. We see quarterbacks sometimes take these injuries and come back a little bit more hesitant to run the ball, which we know is kind of Anthony Richardson's sort of forte. That being said, I'm not sure how he's going to look. He might be a little bit hesitant. I think the Texans come out early, punch him in the mouth, put up some pretty big points. I think late in the game, the Colts kind of find their rhythm. Anthony Richardson gets it here and there, but I think it's too little too late. I think the Colts fall short in a failed game-winning drive. It's a close-scoring game, 30-27. Texans get it done to start the season 1-0. Up next, guys, we got the Cardinals on the road taking on Buffalo. This Buffalo team is having some serious wide receiver woes. They don't have Stephon Diggs. They don't have Gabe Davis. They do still have a young Kincaid. And they got Josh Allen. So this team's going to stay pretty scrappy. But this is my first official upset pick. An absolute lock. I see Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. getting it done. Black Ops 6 is dropping. Kyler Murray wants to play. He's going to get on the road and he's going to get this thing done so he can go home and play some Call of Duty, guys. Give me the Cardinals beating Buffalo on the road in an upset in pretty good fashion. I think they get it done 21-10 Cardinals. Up next, guys, we have the Tennessee Titans on the road heading into Chicago. This Chicago team right now is the one to watch. Caleb Williams did a lot of talking in the offseason. We saw him skipping training camps. We saw him not participate in, I believe it was some of the combines. He has the confidence of a superstar player. We've seen flashes in the preseason. Every single time he gets in the field, it looks good. Now, on the Titans side of things, Will Levis, quarterback, we saw him last season. He was hungry for it. He's entering year 2. This Titans team still has Derrick Henry, still has some of these key pieces that made them look good last season. That being said, I think Caleb Williams has a lot to prove, and he does so in this game. Give me the Chicago Bears beating the Tennessee Titans 24-21 in a pretty close game. Up next, guys, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road heading to Miami to take on Tua and the Miami Dolphins. Now, this right here is going to be a crazy one, guys. This is my second upset pick of the week, and I could be eating my words on this one. In my mind, it's either a Jacksonville upset or it's something similar to what the Dolphins did to the Broncos last season. in a crazy, crazy blowout fashion. Mike McCarthy looking to make a statement. These Dolphins hungry. They really want it after last season. Pause. That being said, I think this Jacksonville team, when they get clicking, Christian Kirk, Travis Etienne, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, these players look good when they're clicking. And of course, it goes without saying the Dolphins do the same thing. But I just got this feeling in my stomach. Something's telling me it's going to be one of those crazy upsets. Give me Jacksonville beating the Dolphins on the road by a touchdown. 35-28 final score. Jacksonville gets it done on the road. Heading into the late slate on Sunday, we have the Denver Broncos on the road to face the Seattle Seahawks. Bo Nix has looked good in the preseason, guys. This Denver team, they're scrappy. You can't really count them out. Courtland Sutton, Bo Nix, Pat Surtain on defense. I mean, they have the pieces there to kind of get it done. And I think we're going to see the narrative change about Geno Smith here. We saw him have some flashes, but I don't mean to be a hater. He has had years in the league to prove who he is. The coaches never really liked him. He was written off. I think we see a little bit of that Geno Lynn sanity run sort of come to an end here. I think the Seattle Seahawks can't really get it done against the Broncos. I think Broncos go on the road to beat the Seattle Seahawks 17-7. Now, a bit of a bias on this one here. We have the Las Vegas Raiders on the road headed to LA to take on the Chargers. I think the Raiders offense is going to struggle, guys. It's no secret. It's sort of been the talk of the league right now. The Raiders quarterback room, it's weak. It's empty. It's scraps. It's bottom of the barrel. Gardner Minshew looked good on the Colts last season, but do the Raiders have those same kind of weapons? Devontae Adams, Jacoby Myers, these are some pretty good receivers, but the Colts just had better weapons. I just don't see it on offense. That being said, I think the Raiders defense is going to be the star of the show this year. I think the Raiders defense is going to surprise a lot of people and do more work than we've seen in the last 12 years from the Raiders probably. That being said, on the Chargers side of things, they picked up Joe Alt. They're looking to build that offensive line and keep Justin Herbert safe, give him more time in the pocket. And we've seen Justin Herbert do a lot more with a lot less time-wise in the pocket. That being said, this game really comes down to a matchup between Joe Alt and that Max Crosby and the Raiders defense. That being said, I think, and this one hurts me as a Raiders fan, I think the Raiders fall short in this one. Final score, 20-12, Chargers get it done. You hate to see it, but we're here to make you guys money, not make myself feel better. Continuing on the late slate in Sunday, we have the Dallas Cowboys on the road to take on the Cleveland Browns. The Browns. I mean, talk about a bad luck team. Why would you go all in for Deshaun Watson? I think he's washed. I think the allegations and all this stuff, a little more than allegations. I think all the stuff off the field is really affecting him on the field. We'll see. I just don't see it. That being said, I think the Dallas Cowboys have a bit of a bad track record, a bit of a curse, if you will, when it comes to giving these players these big money contracts. After they get these contracts, we don't see the same productivity from them. Look at Dak Prescott years ago after he gets the contract. He just completely fell off a cliff. That's a bit of a reach. He took a bit of a dip after he got the contract money. I think CeeDee Lamb, after a contentious offseason fighting with Jerry Jones, going back and forth, beefing on Twitter with essentially your boss, and then getting the contract, I think we see a little bit lower production from CeeDee Lamb this game, maybe even early season. That might be a trend for CeeDee Lamb. That's just how I feel. That's how this humble coach feels. I think it's a low-scoring game, but the Dallas defense, we've seen them consistently good year in, year out. They just seem to find these players that just know how to make these plays. That being said, I think the Dallas defense gets it done. Micah Parsons is going to keep pressure on Deshaun Watson. Bland in the secondary. It's already kind of written. Dallas defense is going to put up some numbers. Give me Dallas defense for at least one defensive score, and they're going to be in the backfield all day. Deshaun Watson. I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Dallas gets it done, 14-3. Up next, guys, we have the Washington Commanders on the road to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jaden Daniels, a young quarterback, not a lot of film on him. He's a bit of a scrappy type of guy. He's got scary Terry McLaurin to throw to. Are they going to have that connection? We saw Terry McLaurin have a pretty good connection with Taylor Heinicke. That was what my eye test was giving me watching them, in and out. I believe they went between Carson Wentz and Taylor Heinicke last season or 2 seasons ago. And I just liked what I saw from Heinicke a lot more as far as the connection went with Terry McLaurin. I wonder if Jaden Daniels is going to have that same type of chemistry. Terry McLaurin seems to very much feed off of that chemistry with his quarterback. Like I say, guys, I saw that with my eye test with him and Heinicke. questions about that if that's going to be the case with him and Jaden Daniels. That being said, he's a young quarterback, and there's not a lot of film on him, so we're going to have to see how this kind of plays out. Now, on the Buccaneers side of the ball, we have Baker, touchdown maker, and Mike Evans. This is a tried and true offensive core. That being said, when this all shakes out, all said and done, this coach thinks the final score is going to be 20-17. Commanders get it done. Now, up next, guys, we have another one. Up next, guys, we have another one of my favorites. We have the Rams on the road to take on the Lions. Shootout alert. Shootout alert. The over. Hammer the over. I don't care what the line is. I think it's going to be an absolute shootout, similar to what we saw last January, guys. Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, Tutu Atwell. The pieces are set. It's the star-studded offense on both sides of the ball here, guys. They're going to come back swinging. The new uniforms are sick. This team is in its absolute prime now, and they're hungry, and they want this Super Bowl. Give me the Lions over the Rams in an absolute shootout. 42-35. Lions get it done. Last but not least, guys, we have the Jets on the road to take on the San Francisco 49ers. Brock Purdy, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. This is a star-studded offense. And as of this time, Ayuk has confirmed and did sign that contract, $120 million over 4 years, guys. That is a monster contract. We've seen so many crazy contracts this offseason. Ayuk, in my opinion, is the least deserving of the contract that size. Call me a hater. Hater alert. Hater alert. Call me a hater. I think he's the least deserving of the contract at this time. He has a lot to prove, because that's a big piece of money they broke him off on an already star-studded offense. And Brock Purdy, is it time to give him a contract? Is he a system quarterback, or is he a real playmaker? Or all the pieces around him just so amazing that it's plug and play for any quarterback? As that's been the question for, a season now. And I think you'll see more of that in this season as well. On the Jets side of the ball, we know the Jets defense, guys. This is an amazing defense. Sauce Gardner. They added a couple more key pieces this offseason as well. And the return of the ayahuasca king, Aaron Rodgers. That's the biggest question mark on this Jets team. Is Rodgers still the Rodgers we knew growing up watching him play? Or is this a whole new Rodgers where he's more concerned with politics and podcasts than football? We'll see what that is, guys. That being said, guys, I think the Jets still aren't where they need to be to take on this Niners team. Give me the Niners stomping the Jets 27-13. We got all the boilerplate stuff out of the way. You guys have seen my picks. You guys know where I stand on this. Now, what I'm going to do in this show is, guys, I'm going to give you my top 3 picks. The top 3 picks that I'm going to parlay myself. So if you guys want to ride that lightning, ride the coattails, this is where it's going to be at. And we're going to put a little mark in the video here, guys. If you guys want to skip all the yapping and get right to the good stuff and right to the money making, we'll put it right here, guys. So with that being said, my locks of the week. Give me the Green Bay Packers over the Philadelphia Eagles. Something in my stomach just feels right. It's like a bowl of chicken noodle soup just sitting in there. I just feel like the Packers are going to get this done over the Philadelphia Eagles. My second lock, guys, give me Big Kirko and the Atlanta Falcons to curb stomp the Steelers. Now, as it stands right now, they are -3. I would tease that up to -7. I just see them winning this game confidently. That one also sits in my stomach like a little warm bowl of chicken noodle soup, and this coach loves that pick. My third lock, guys, I want to make a statement on the YouTube sphere, okay? I want you guys to be watching these games on Sunday and think, oh my God, coach was right. Coach was right. That's right. Give me the Cardinals to upset the Buffalo Bills. That being said, guys, my parlay is going to look a little bit like this. Packers money line, Falcons -7, and the Cardinals money line. That's a 3-leg parlay. That's going to turn your little bit of money into a lot of bit of money. That's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching. Down to your luck. Let's make a buck. Until next week, guys, let's leak this script.